Hello everyone, welcome to Davas for Your Family. My name is Rajesh. Today we are going to explore how can we create a AWS key pair using Terraform. So today the video is all about creating the key pair automatically using Terraform in AWS console. So let me show my code. So this is my readme.md, and so here we are going to see this is the workflow what we are going to create today. So today we are going to create a TLS private key that is having the private as well as the public key. Okay, and using this AWS key pair with the key name of DFUK 19 August 25, this is today's date, and we are going to extract the public key from the private key which we created from here, and also we are going to save that private key with the PEM format in my local. Okay, so first of all, what is this key pair all about? When you create a EC2 instance, there will be a public and private key we need to have in order to access the AWS EC2 instance. Okay, so we can able to create this key pair in AWS console manually, but today we are going to see how can we create that key pairs using Terraform. Instead of using the console, we will be creating that in our local, and the public key will be uploaded to AWS console. Okay, if you go to my AWS account, if you just search for keys, you can able to see there is a key pass. So here, if you click this one, first you have to choose the region. Okay, so our target or my target region is Asia Pacific Singapore region. Okay, in that I have already having two keys. So in order to create a key pair, you just go to key pair and enter a key name, maybe test, and this will be, there will be two format we can able to download the key pair. So if you are going to use the mobile XRAM or any other SSH tool, then you need to select PEM file. This PPK file is used to connect using the server's SSH, that is the our Windows servers. Okay, so in order to, first we will download this PEM key, and using the SSH key gen we can be able to convert this from PEM key to PPK format. Okay, so I'm just selecting the algorithm as RSA. This is the default I'm just selecting. So when I create the key pair, it will just download the .pem key. Okay, this is the private key, and if you see, this is the public key that will be uploaded or created in the AWS console. Okay, I'll be deleting this one because we don't need this one, because we are going to create this using Terraform. Okay, so first, in order to authenticate to the AWS, that is the basic requirement, we need to have the Terraform, which will be, I have specified here in the workflow. Okay, first we need to have the Terraform installed in our local, and we need to configure the access key and secret key in order to get the APIs. That means we need to interact with AWS, right? Using the access key and secret key, we can able to interact with AWS. So you need to have the IAA permission. That will be, I will be showing you, like for example, I have an IAM user that is called, the username can able to see fire. Okay, so if I click this one, I have assigned this administrative access, but in production this will be not the case. Since it's a demo, I'll be creating multiple resources, so I just assign this instead of having the individual permission, I have created or assigned with administrator policy. Okay, and if you go to the security credential, here is the access key and secret key that will be used to interact with AWS. Currently, I have two keys. For a per user, you can able to assign two keys. So this key I just created an hour ago for this demo. Okay, so you need to create, if I just want to rotate this one, then you have the option to create a new key that will be get downloaded to your local. For example, I will just delete this one, or I can say deactivate, so that I can reuse this one. So I just refresh this page. Maybe I don't need this one. I'll be deleting this key so that it will be a real time scenario that have. Okay, create access key, and here we'll be choosing the CLI, and I just confirm yes and next, and we will just give test and create access key. So this is the access key and this is the secret key. If you have to download this to your local, because once you have refreshed this console, you cannot be able to get this again. So you have to download this file so that you can use this file to configure the Terraform while you interacting with AWS. Okay, so now I don't need this key. Okay, I'll be just going back. Fine. Now, in order to configure the AWS, we need to go to this one, AWS. You have to have the Terraform as well as the AWS CLI configured installed on your local machine. I'll just first I need to give AWS configure, and this will ask for you the access key and secret key and the default region name. I have just input that as a previously I have already updated this one, and the default output you can just press enter, then it will be saved as JSON. Okay, I have configured this already. If I go and AWS configure list profile. Okay, you can able to see these many profile I have created, but in the default profile I have created the new access key and secret key which is generated today. So in order to check that one, okay, if I go to, it will save under this AWS folder. Here I'll be type credential, right? So this is the access key and secret key that I have just configured, which I created before. Using this one, you can be able to interact with AWS. So now I'm going back to the VS Code, and I will explain the Terraform code. So first, provider. We are using the AWS as our provider. So we have just updated this as AWS, and there will be lot many provider like Azure, GCP, and lot many provider are there. Our demo is all about AWS, so I'm just updated with the AWS and the region. So which region you want to create your resources. So I just give AP Southeast one. So this will be the Singapore region. Yeah. And for this one, first, using this resource TLS private key, we are creating a private and public key using this TLS provider key. If I go to the reference, so if you see, this create a PEM file, okay, and this is the resource is a keyword, and TLS, this is the resource type which we are going to create, and this is the internal name. Okay, so this is the internal name, that is my key, and the algorithm I'm using RSA, and the bits I'm using 4096, and there are 2046 likewise. So I'm just pick this as 4096. Okay, that you can see here in the attribute. If you see here, right, these are the options. So if you see, there are a lot many like use cases. So here if you see, this is the 4096 bits, and I'm also using 4096. Okay, so I'm just going back to the terminal, and we are using the resource AWS keypair, and this is the internal name, and the key name I'm just giving is DFU key, that is with the today's date, and public key. So what we are doing here is we are extracting the public key which we created from this TLS private key. Okay, when you create this one, it will create two things. One is the private key as well as the public key. So using this TLS private key dot my key dot public key open SSH, we are extracting the public key, and then this will be get uploaded or created in the AWS console that we will going to see in a while. Also, I'll be extracting the local using this local file resource. I'm going to save that private key in my local, so that whenever I'm creating any EC2 instance that we will see in our upcoming video, we'll be just using this PIN key to authenticate to the EC2 instance. So if you ask me, so the private key is used to prove your identity, and the public key is used to verify your identity. So these are the two things. So private key will be with us, and the public key that will be created inside the AWS console. Let us see that in action. So first we need to initialize the Terraform. That is the first command. So Terraform init. So what this will do, this will go and get all the provider plugins, and it will create .terraform directory. Under this one, it will have the plugins, that is the AWS plugin whatever needed for this to interact with AWS. So now it's create a .terraform under this one. If you see, there is a provider, AWS provider, right? This will be get downloaded from the AWS. Okay, the next action we are going to perform is Terraform plan. Okay, this will is just a overview what are the resources is going to create. So now I'm executing Terraform plan. This will give us a overview what is the resource that will be get created. If you see the plan, there will be plan 3 to add. So if you see this key pair, so one is this TLS private key that is having the private and public key, and second one is this will the public key that will be created in the AWS, and the third one is the perm key that will be saved in our local machine. Okay, here I'm just giving Terraform apply now, and also I'll be giving auto approve instead of pressing another YES. Okay, so this will deploy, or I can say this will create. If you see my AWS console, you can able to see the public key that will be created with DFU key with today's date. Still it's executing. Yeah. Yes, I think the apply completes and 3 resource added. Okay, we go to my AWS console. If I refresh page, yeah, you see, right, DFU key 19 August 25. This is the public key. Whenever we are creating any EC2 instance, we'll be referring this key to authenticate with using the local PIM file, that is the private key, against this public key. So if you see my local, that DFU PEM key has been created since we have used the local provider. Okay, so now cursor is a little bit tricky. Yeah, so using local this one resource, we have created this DFU PEM key in my local, and also we have changed the file permission, because in order to connect we need to have this permission only for the user who is connecting this PEM key. Okay, and also if you notice, there will be two files is created. One is terraform.local.html, another one is the terraform.ts state file. So currently we are not managing the terraform state file in our S3, that is the remote backend. Currently we are using the local backend, that is in my local. So in our upcoming video we will be creating the terraform state file S3 in AWS. Okay, so now if I just want to see what are the resources inside this state file, we will execute Terraform state list. So if I just sorry, okay, Terraform state list. This will give us the three resources which we created. So one is this keypair, another one is the RSA key, and another one is the PEM file which we created. Okay, and this is the log file that is useful for the version what we are using for the provider. So this is 6.90, this is having the log file. Okay, so now if I want to terminate this one, that means destroy the resource what we created. Now I'll be using Terraform destroy command, and also I will give auto open. Since this is a demo environment, I'm just giving this auto approve key, but in production this is not the case. Okay, yeah, so this will destroy all the three resources which we created just before. And yeah, so once it destroyed, let us see in the AWS console, and also you can see the dfu.pem key also deleted from here. If I just go to my console and if I refresh, also see that key with the name which we created, that also destroyed. So now if I want to delete, or if I want to practice this one, we can able to just delete this .terraform plugin directory and the Terraform state file and the log .html file. So using this our normal Linux command, what I'm doing here is I'm just using rm-rf to delete all these files. Yeah, you see all this file has been deleted. Now I can again, if I want, I can able to just reuse this one, or I can just go with practice with the terraform.init and terraform plan, terraform apply, and terraform destroy. So I can able to play around all this command. And we have a site running here. I have hosted my site. This is a simple site which I have hosted my GitHub and my YouTube channels. So this is the DevOps for you dot space. This is the web page I created, and I encourage all of you to just go to my playlist, and if you really like the content, I'm requesting you to subscribe to my channel and just share this useful videos to your friends so that they will also get benefited by learning at least the Terraform and all the DevOps related like knowledge. It is very useful to them to just shape their career or just to get around some knowledge on the Terraform and Jenkins, all the CI/CD pipelines, everything. So I'm going to have this Terraform series. So currently, if you see, these are my targets. That is today I have at least like completed my Terraform this basic video, that is going with keepers. So if you see, there will be another set of videos which I plan, like creating a VPC subnet and security group EC2, and how to host a Nginx website, building a S3 bucket and for each, and there will be lot many meta argument count for each, and there are a few more argument, like if you want to create any resource that will by default destroy and create, we will prevent that one. Likewise, there will be lot many things we have, and also if we want to create more resources in two availability zone using the for each, we can able to achieve. So these are my upcoming videos I have planned. So yeah, stay tuned and I'll be uploading the videos. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and forward this to your friends. Thank you so much. Bye.